Join us as I fly in economy class on United's Boeing 737-900ER from Chicago O'Hare to Washington Dulles. I'm Ralph from Ralph's Trip Reports, and welcome to this week's video. Well, hello there, and a very good morning from Millennium Park, specifically the Beam. I had a great couple of days here in Chicago, which wasn't really supposed to be a couple of days. Let me explain. I had came to Chicago to see the Phillies take on the Chicago Cubs at the world-famous Wrigley Field, which that ended in a disaster. However, that should be on everybody's bucket list to see at least once. What a great stadium. However, the game started in a 3-hour and 30-minute rain delay, which means it didn't get started till almost 4 o'clock. My flight was at 9:30 at O'Hare, and I didn't want to risk missing any of the game at such a historic place. So I went on the United app, and to my shocking, I found an itinerary going back to Philadelphia at no charge to change, which really shocked me. However, as they say in life, everything that's free comes at a cost. Well, that's the same here, because my flight going home has a connection in Washington Dulles Airport. That's okay for me though, because I get to see a new airport, film a new airport for the channel, and then I get to take a regional plane back to Philly. So it's going to be an interesting day. So without further ado, I think it's time we bid the city farewell and take the Blue Line out to O'Hare. After getting my luggage from the hotel, it's time to head to the airport. Today, we will be taking the CTA Blue Line from the Loop to O'Hare Airport. The airport is so far that the ride on the Blue Line takes over an hour just to get from the Loop to O'Hare. There is a metro train that you can take from Union Station to O'Hare Airport in about 35 minutes. However, that only runs on rush hour only service during the week. And if you don't get it at the right time, it's not really a good option. I really wish they would just create an express train that runs from Union Station to O'Hare Airport. But that's a topic for another day. After arriving at O'Hare, it's a long walk from the CTA station to Terminal 1, where United leaves from. After coming up the escalator, we reach the ticketing counters for Terminal 1. I don't have any bags to check today, so it's straight through to TSA, and I am now airside. But before we go to our gate, let's say hello to one of Chicago's most famous people, Benny. Well, in bobblehead form. And also, before we go over, I have to stop for one of my favorites, Garrett Popcorn. We will be departing from the C gates today, so it is a quick walk underground through the walkway. And welcome to O'Hare. You know, I always love this hallway when I come through with the lights on it. It is a nice way to transfer between Terminal B and C here at O'Hare. So, I'm heading over to my gate now. I looked at some standby flights to Philly, and it looks like they're all full, and a guaranteed option on one of them was over $1,000 and was over $200 on the other one. So, I'm going to be going through Washington today. But that's okay. It's all in the fun. At least I'm going home and I didn't have to pay anything, so I can't complain. But anyway, let's head up to the gate, and our aircraft should be coming in from Houston very soon. And we've reached our gate, and we see that our flight 2216 to Washington Dulles is on time. And here is our aircraft. Taking us over to Dulles today is November 37413, a December 2007 built Boeing 737-900ER. And now let's board the aircraft and take a look at our seat. Each seat comes with individual air vents and reading lights. Going down onto the seat, we see the small seatback TV screen. More on that in a minute. Below that, we see the literature pocket, which houses the safety information card, air sickness bag, bistro menu, and an ad for the United credit card. Below that is the tray table, which is pretty big and sturdy. United also hands out sanitizing wipes to each passenger. Below the seat, each passenger has a 120-volt power outlet and USB charge point. Now, let's take a look at the Aerolopa seat map for this aircraft. Up front, we see domestic first, arranged in a 2-2 configuration with 37 inches of pitch. Behind that is Economy Plus, laid out in a 3-3 arrangement with 33 inches of pitch. And finally, we see the Economy Class cabin, laid out in a 3-3 arrangement with 30 inches of pitch. And welcome on board the United Boeing 737-900ER to Washington Dulles Airport. Seats pretty comfortable. We did get an older aircraft. I was hoping to get the next gen cabin, but it just didn't happen on this flight. It would have happened if I took the MAX last night, but there's always next time. So we're getting boarded up here in just a minute. We should be ready to go.
United Airlines Flight 2216 will be on the way to Washington's Dulles Airport here in just a few minutes. Once airborne today, quick 1 hour, 21 minute flight to Dulles. Starting out at 33,000 feet, looking like it should be mostly smooth for most of our flight anyway. I'll turn the seatbelt sign off as soon as I can. We'll leave it off as much as possible. But if you see it come on during the flight, please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelt for me. Weather in Dulles right now, west winds 5 miles an hour, cloudy skies 73 degrees. Welcome aboard. We'll be on the way here very shortly.
Disabling or destroying laboratory smoke detectors. U.S. law also requires passengers to comply with lighted signs and crew member instructions.
Now boarding. Make sure you've switched all smartphones, tablets, and e-readers to airplane mode. For taxi, takeoff, and landing, large electronic devices must...
Today's taxi is very long because we will be departing from the south side of the airport today. And we're about to reach the runway, which means it's time for takeoff. This afternoon, we will be departing towards the east on runway 10 left. Now, let's take a look at the bistro menu. Opening the menu, we see all the snacks and snack boxes that are available for purchase. Below that, we see the 3 complimentary snack items that will be available to us on today's flight. A bag of snack mix, crisps, and the Daleman's Stroopwafel. I can't wait for that. Opening the menu, we see the other sandwich options that are available to us on our flight. Because this flight is after breakfast time, we only have lunch and dinner options today. However, I'm going to stick with the complimentary items. On the back, we see all the drinks that are available. Soda, water, juice, coffee, and tea are complimentary. And here it is, the snack cart has arrived. Today, I've chosen the Daleman's Stroopwafel. I've also chosen a hot tea. And another tip to make your Stroopwafel more enjoyable is to place it on top of a hot beverage for a few minutes, letting each side toast before you eat it. So, with taking both United and Delta on this trip, I thought I would do something a little interesting. It's time for a taste test. To the left, we have a Biscoff cookie, a piece of it, that's served on Delta and American. And on the right, here's the window. We have the Nailman Stroopwafel. Let's see which one's better. First, Biscoff. Pretty good. Now, this is my first one. The Stroopwafel. This is good, don't get me wrong. But Biscoff's the winner. Hands down. The Biscoff cookie is so much better. Now, let's take a look at the in-flight entertainment. Looking at the screen, you can tell that this is not United's best product, their next cabin. However, I think this may be better for some people, and here's why. On this flight, the TV was working, which was great, unlike in the comparison series, which I'll link above. However, this is not the next cabin, which has the better screen, the ability to connect Bluetooth headphones, a better moving map, in-flight movies and TVs at your seat on a brighter screen, which is all great, don't get me wrong. However, this flight has something that doesn't. The ability to watch live TV, which was great for me because today a lot was happening in the sports world. You had the NFL draft, NBA playoffs, and the Phillies on national television, which I was able to watch all three without a hitch. So for me, this TV screen is way better. And if you want to watch movies on your phone, no problem. Connect to the Wi-Fi and you can watch movies and TV shows through that. So you really have the best of both worlds on this plane. And just like that, it's time for us to land. However, due to some impeding weather, Dulles had to change a runway at the last minute, which required us to hold over West Virginia for about 5 minutes before coming in for a bumpy landing into Washington Dulles. This afternoon, we will be landing from the south on runway 1 center.
Welcome to Washington Dulles, where the local time is 4:17 p.m. On behalf of the entire United team and our Star Alliance partners, thank you for choosing to fly with us, and we hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Once again,
And welcome to Washington, D.C. Well, not really. Dulles Airport is located about 20 miles outside of Washington, D.C. in Dulles, Virginia. This afternoon, we will be arriving into the midfield terminal here in Dulles, arriving into gate D14. After I got off my flight, I had to take a ride on one of the world-famous mobile lounges here at Dulles. The mobile lounge serves a couple purposes here, either transporting passengers between the concourses or directly from their plane to international customs. I don't have time to go in depth here, but there's a few videos out there on YouTube that are very interesting to watch. We'll pick it back up from here next time as I take a ride on the United Express CRJ 550 from here in Dulles up to Philadelphia at sunset. So join us next time for that video, but for now, take care, God bless, and I'll see you next time.